What's up, nerd family? Welcome once again to the Poindexter Lounge. My name is Enosh, aka Enosh Vet, and what you are about to see is our review of Season 6 of The Flash, along with our review of the season finale of The Flash. Now, this takes place right directly after the show just ended. We live streamed on Facebook because, as a lot of you know, we had a copyright strike because of our watch party. It got erroneously tagged for some reason, and we had to wait 2 weeks to live stream again. So we went to Facebook and we did that. We have some of that footage, but it got cut off in the middle, so it didn't work. So here is our review. This is exactly what we thought right after the show ended, and I know a lot of you guys are interested in that, and I would love to have conversations with you with that. So follow us on social media. Go ahead and hit us up or leave comments here on the channel. We would love to hear from you. So I give you now our thoughts and opinions directly after the show ended. Stay nerdy.
You're not eating his crunchy bone. You had yours. You don't steal everyone else's. Eat this one.
I don't know what to think, to be honest with you. I'm trying to piece together and put together what my thoughts are.
Okay,
well, we need to.
I can't.
We're gonna have to bring this on over here
Oh my gosh.
and do this here. This episode was just a bunch of jostled stuff together. To be quite honest with you, I mean, if we're really just talking about this as an episode. This episode, if it was not for the fact that we know that it was why it was this way, man, we would just be like, this was an awful episode. Because it's just a hodgepodge of stuff. It makes no sense. You know, people all of a sudden are in one outfit, and then all of a sudden you see them 2 seconds later and they're in another outfit.
And Dibny's woman is framed for murder.
Well, and absolutely no context for that whatsoever. Just, oh yeah, frame for murder. There you go.
Isaac said, I think they'll go back to a speedster villain next season. People haven't liked a non-speedster villain since the Thinker.
I agree.
They brought in Godspeed, finish it out.
They keep teasing us with Godspeed.
We haven't gotten the Godspeed.
We have not gotten the Godspeed yet, and so that's why I tend not to really. I don't know that I believe all this stuff about Thawne and Bloodwork joining together and becoming whatchamacallit, Red Death and all that stuff. Unless they're gonna do some big thing where there's like a bunch of speedsters, which that I could see happening if you really want to step it up for season 7. And you
cameo from Sonic the Hedgehog.
Well, you give him.
He drops his rings.
You give the Flash back his speed, and then he has a real challenge.
Yeah, because we don't even know what's going to happen with the Speed Force.
But you got to remember. I got dogs everywhere. You got to remember that this is a problem now for the beginning of season 7. Because now they've got so many things to.
They got to tie up from this and start their own season.
You got to get Barry back his speed somehow. You got to somehow solve this issue with Iris and the other girl in the Mirrorverse. You know, now they're adding to the mix that, you know, Dibny's future wife is being accused of murder.
So now he gets to be all detective-y and save her butt.
So you got that. You know, the thing with Joe coming back at the end was weird and kind of cringy. You know, it's like I'm glad that they brought Joe back, but they brought Joe back like right then, like the last second, and they're all just like,
"Okay, everybody, let's hug. The show's done."
Yeah, that wasn't good.
Isaac said, "I liked the Thinker. Didn't really like Cicada. I don't think we got enough blood work. Could also be a rogue, and Mirror Master wasn't used right."
Yeah, this man.
Which is tough to say when it's like one of your favorite shows.
It is. It's really tough to say when it's one of your favorite shows because this just was
not.
But
we know that their hands were tied because of what was happening in the world, which sucks, and it goes to show that it affects everything.
Yeah. Well, and I will say that.
So I'm trying to cut them some slack. Because
you got to cut them some slack, but I do think too that, you know, they have a tendency to pull stuff out in those last 2-3 episodes of the season.
Isaac said they probably did all that to make it feel like a finale. Probably the thing with Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff says we never know the context because of coronavirus. Remember, this is supposed to be a regular episode 19, not season finale.
Exactly, and that's the catch right there. That's the clincher is that.
And Jeff said Mirror Master's not even over yet, Isaac.
I know.
Because she now is like controlling, the business because her husband's gone.
Mm-hmm. Well, and man, that was so creepy though. The way that she's like, I've been held captive for 6 years, and now you're just gonna go back to running a company.
Well, she says that it's what my husband would have wanted because he worked tirelessly to get me back, just to be murdered right when we were, brought together. And she's like, it's what he would have wanted. Mm-hmm.
That's what is David Miscavige's wife, the guy who has a Scientology, whose wife has not been seen in like 10 years.
Maybe she's Mirror Master.
His wife's Mirror Master. Yes. Why could I believe that was Scientology too? That like they would be like some.
That's
some
where Xena came from.
Some Flash villain. I don't know. That it's just a weird ending. And we're gonna feel that. We're gonna feel the effects of it because it's a weird season. But I'll tell you what, this goes to show you one thing, is that I hope that they take a cue from this and don't pull one of these, hey, we're gonna pull a rabbit out of our hat in the last episode thing again. Because you can tell that they were doing that with this season.
You know what this was like? This was like that one episode of South Park where they had, was it like the dolphins or like the whales where they had the balls that had the different information and they brought them up to the surface and then that's how they came up with an episode?
Oh, yes.
That's what this felt like.
A bunch of random stuff and like throw that together and make an episode.
Isaac said, I know, Jeff. Her introduction was drawn out in the mirror dimension and then rushed in the real world. Irvin said, the pandemic is not an excuse. Like, in general, the season is bad. Like, I'm not judging this as a finale because it wasn't written as such. Mm. And then Jeff said, what if Iris becomes the mirror mistress? Laugh out loud. That's another twist. Ryan, Darth Tasty pretty much says, what's up, everyone? And Isaac says, I think there will be less fillers from now on, but I don't think they'll stop build up for the way that they could. Guys, get out of the couch. Seriously.
Go sit down over there. Over there. You guys don't need to be on the couch right now. We are doing something. Yeah, I feel like, I apologize for the dogs, by the way.
We have a doggy stampede.
I don't know what their deal is. All of a sudden, like, they're so rambunctious they want to just be up here with us.
We gave them a crunchy bone to shut them up, and then she tried to steal his, so I put it behind my back, which probably made the couch smell like it, which now they're trying to get behind me on the couch. I held her back while he ate his, and he thanked me for it, but now she's trying to get all up in his business.
We got a better show going on here.
It's a doggy soap opera.
We got a better show going on here
We'll just tape it and put that on.
We got a better show going on here than we had for the ending of The Flash. No, it's
doggies for a fee.
The first season, the first part of the season was kind of iffy because they were leading up to Crisis, because everybody knew that Crisis was the real story. That's what everybody was wanting to see. Nobody cared about the first couple of episodes because we were all waiting for Crisis. And then Crisis happened, and we got a couple of good we got what was it, 3 or 4 bad episodes right in a row right after Crisis.
We had some stinkers until Brandon Routh redeemed himself.
We got some okay episodes to start out the season.
And the 2 Flashes meeting.
Yep, we got some okay episodes to start out the season. Then we got Crisis, which was good, but Crisis could have been better. But I've heard a lot of people griping about Crisis and going off on Crisis. I will say this. It was what it was, and I enjoyed it, and it gave me one of the most awesome Flash moments I think we've ever had, and it was good to see Tom Welling again, even though I don't agree with the choice that they made with Tom Welling Superman, because now after having rewatched Smallville and being in season 10,
at least Lex didn't take him out.
All that talk that was on Smallville for 10 seasons of you got to fulfill your destiny and you're going to lead them and you're going to set the example for all the other heroes and stuff like that, for him to give up his powers. That's junk. No. As far as I'm concerned, the Tom Welling that we saw is probably not, to me, it's not Smallville Tom Welling Superman. It's like whatever else somebody else
It's Dad
became.
Superman.
Whatever.
But it was kind of cool to see Tyler Hoechlin's story kind of start getting ready to start their show, which was cool.
And then we got Brandon Routh, Superman, and we got all those things. And so there was too much good stuff that happened during Crisis for me to hate on it. But we came back from Crisis with The Flash, and we got like at least 3 episodes in a row that were horrendous. And we were talking about those episodes every week. No wonder they probably hit us with a copyright strike, because we've had to sit here and go on about how like the episodes just weren't that good.
Well, Jeff said, I really think some people only feel disappointed because they don't get the outcome that they want or expect. Admit it, you just didn't expect the plot twist. You're just still in shock. And then Isaac says...
The plot twist? What, about this episode?
I don't know if it's the plot twist or just the last couple episodes or what, but and then Isaac said, I think there will be less fillers, but I don't think they'll stop building up for the last few episodes. All the DC shows do that after how this season turned out. And then Tanya says, the Thinker is not smart and Cicada is a coward and Bloodwork is Venom in DC, but I love that guy, and Mirror Master is an angry girl who loves mirrors. And Jeff Glotfelty just signed out and said, hey guys.
What's up, Jeff? Good to see you, buddy. Okay, there's a lot to think about there. I agree that sometimes we don't get what we want, and so obviously we complain, right? And that's going to be and that's.
But I understand Grant Gustin's. I understand now his interview on how he responded the way that he did.
That's what I was saying. Was that it was
I
not.
do understand it now.
It was not the typical, hey, this is going to be out there and we're doing our best, kind of deal.
Isaac said, but not all versions of heroes are the same. Tom Welling's Superman wouldn't have shaped Zod's neck.
Snap Zod's neck.
He would have ran him to another place, and Grant Gustin's Flash doesn't tell jokes like how Ezra's does. So there's like different versions. I agree with that.
Fair enough.
Well played.
But again, like tonight's episode, Barry, all of a sudden he's ready. He's like literally entertaining.
Trading
a life for a life.
But he was such a jerk. I wanted to punch him in the
trust
throat.
me, I have no problem.
I would have, if anyone's going to get traded for it to get my wife back, it's going to be that guy. He needed to be punched in the throat.
For sure. I like I said,
Not that I'm condoning bad stuff, but he needed a throat punch bad.
I am condoning bad stuff.
He needed a throat punch.
Here's the thing. I don't necessarily think it's bad, because I don't think that it's realistic that any character is ever written in a way where you just say that, oh, it's just so easy for them to somehow make everything all right and to save everybody and that nobody gets hurt and the villains never die and all that stuff. I mean, I just don't agree with that. I think that there comes a time where sometimes, lethal force is needed. I mean, the people who protect and serve us every day deal with lethal force. We don't want to think about that, and we act like they're bad guys, but they're not bad guys when they're out there fighting bad guys, and they're protecting us, and they're putting their life on the line, and they're risking their lives so that we can be safe and have a country here to live in, or wherever you're at. Somebody's got to protect you.
It's a job that when they come home and the wife says, hey, hon, how was your day? You literally, you're like, you don't want to know what happened. I mean,
yeah. So this idea that everything is just can be written away and perfect, and they can just fly him away to some other place and protect all the citizens. No, that's not how the real world works. When everybody's complaining about Man of Steel, the movie, talking about Superman should have flown Zod to someplace else. Really? What about all the dozens of other Kryptonians that were literally terraforming the planet, starting with Metropolis? You know what I'm saying? Like you can't just go, hey guys, come over here with me. Let's fight 20 miles outside of the city. It's not going to matter where you fight, because they're terraforming the planet. They're turning the planet into an uninhabitable place for humans. So you got to fight them where you're at while you have the opportunity to fight them. You don't get the luxury of going someplace else. And I think that's lazy writing for superheroes, because also it doesn't give superheroes the chance to make tough decisions. You know what I mean? Sometimes superheroes need to be able to make tough decisions. It's one of the most powerful scenes of Man of Steel when Superman
snaps Zod's neck, and then then the anguish that he goes through because he didn't want to do it, but he had to. And that's in the comics too. And you know, people who are like these, like, I don't know, these, you know, Silver Age purists who want their superheroes to like live in the 1950s and in the 40s still. You know, I don't know, because that's not how the characters were originally written. Batman, when he was originally created, carried a gun. Superman went around and beat up deadbeats and people who were abusers and beat up their wives and stuff like that. The first issue of Action Comics has Superman going and literally throwing a guy like across the room or whatever who was beating his wife. So that's the kind of stuff that these heroes did originally. They roughed people up, and rightfully so. But the thing, and I understand holding back. I understand that because that's what Superman has to do, and that's what some of these characters have to do. But when they're fighting literal threats to the world, if superheroes were real, I'm sorry, but I would not want them to be like holding back on a character or on a villain that could destroy the entire planet. That's just me.
Jeff said, plot twist: Eva framing Sue and Iris, Camilla, and Chief Sing staying inside the Mirrorverse longer. At least we get to explore the mirror world in the coming season. Irvin says, I'm upset because you have so many great villains and you pick Mirror Master. Make the story. Oh, he never rescued me, so I'm mad. Like the motive is so pretty again. Or petty again.
Yep.
And give me the old showrunner. He had more solid seasons.
Well, and here, you know what? And was it Jeff that said that about that we're going to get to explore the Mirrorverse again?
Jeff said that, and the last one
Which Jeff?
Was
Which Jeff?
the regular spelling Jeff.
Okay.
The other one is like Geoff.
Yes. Okay. So
I like the fancy spelling.
So Jeff with a J. Here's my problem with that. Honestly, we know what's going to happen. Season 7 is going to start off. We're not going to get some.
Blame Rona, and it's him wearing a mask.
You know, we're probably not going to get some in-depth anything into the Mirrorverse now. They're basically going to try to wrap it up as fast as possible to get to the meat of what they want season 7 to be.
Well, yeah.
They're not going to waste. I guarantee you, they're not going to waste 3 episodes.
Unless they planned on having the next villain, because of the way they set her up for this episode. Unless they plan on taking her into the next season. That's the only reason that they would.
But I highly doubt it. So at this point, because I don't think you take Mirror Master
that long to flesh it out.
That long. You don't keep Mirror Master around for 2 seasons worth of story.
Okay.
So my guarantee and my prediction right now is that when we see season 7 start, they will try to wrap it up as neatly and as quickly as possible. They will not take 3 episodes like they would have here at the end of the season to wrap up that storyline. They will try to wrap it up in a neat little bow. The Flash will get his powers back. They'll get Iris and everybody out of the Mirrorverse. Everything will go back to normal.
That's what I just said. They'll wrap up Mirror Master in the first episode, like how they solved the previous season's problem in 1 episode.
Mm-hmm.
Isaac also said, I love when protagonists, not just as superheroes, are humanized and can't always talk their way out of everything and have to use their skills, powers to get what needs to be done. Yeah. Sometimes the villain needs to die, and the protagonist doesn't always get the happy ending.
That's right. That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right.
That's Isaac.
That's right. That's why we raised him that way.
And Irvin said they should do a 2-hour premiere, honestly, just to flesh it out.
We got the green screen behind us. You know, when I throw this up on YouTube, we can like throw all kinds, like by default, we could like throw all kinds of stuff in the background happening, like craziness.
This stuff all up in
I know, it just looked like it's in the background.
I agree with Irvin, though. If they did like a 2-hour premiere, that would be something that would be nice, because then they could just kind of be like, hey, this makes up for what we missed. This is how we ended it. Now let's start the season for the next 20.
That's a good idea. Do a 2-hour premiere. So you're going to cut the season. You're basically going to cut the season down. Yeah, I mean you're going to have it down 1 filler probably for the year.
Oh well.
And instead of having the equivalent of your story lasting 22 episodes, your story will come in at 21 episodes, which is fine. You know,
especially when this one ended at 19. So What's the big whoop?
That's what I'm saying. You do it like a 2 hour.
I agree with Irvin.
That's a great idea, Irvin. I agree with that. Isaac says that's why Batman is my favorite hero. And you know the thing is, man, is Isaac is that's one of the problems that people have had with Batman in the last few years. Like they don't want Batman to have to deal with that stuff either because Batman is perfect. Batman makes no mistakes. Batman always has a contingency plan, right? So Batman would never have to kill. And I don't know.
Batman also has the same mindset as other superheroes.
We're holding these heroes, and I don't know where this started, but all of a sudden we're holding these heroes to like all these standards that like we have not held these heroes to in a long time. We've talked about it a lot here on the channel, and Isaac and I have talked about it. We've talked about it. Like all the Batman movies that have ever existed, Batman kills somebody in them, and some of them he kills a lot of people.
Throwing them down on a tower,
putting bombs in their pants and blowing them up, you know, and you know, like you said, hitting your head on a tower, throwing them down the belfry. You know, he's got machine guns on the Batmobile back in '89 even. You know, like, I'm sorry, but we're not stupid. You know, like, I don't understand this. And then all of a sudden, you know, Ben Affleck comes out and he's fighting a bunch of guys shooting guns at him. And because he holds a guy's arm, and the guy shoots another guy, Batman's a murderer all of a sudden. Like,
he's the Dark Knight.
I don't understand this. You know? And then Barry can sit here and run around and like cry with a pouty eyes about telling everybody that like how they're wrong and that they don't know what it means to be a hero and that they've got to like search deep down inside. And then his wife disappears for a couple of weeks. He realizes he's been, you know, doing the mirrored two-step with somebody else, and all of a sudden he's ready to go kill somebody himself, and he thinks that's okay. I don't know.
Isaac said that's why I'm really excited for the Batman, because a few cast members said it'll be darker than most DC films, and normally the Batman side of DC is. Irvin said Nolan Batman is my favorite, and Isaac said you kill Joker in Arkham City even and then cremate him in Arkham Knight. Is there gonna be Joker in the new Batman movie? So does that mean they're going to recast another Joker?
No. So as far as we know, we don't know anything when it comes to the Joker. But the Joker has not been cast. It doesn't appear
Is it supposed to be in Pattinson's?
It doesn't. Well, no, it doesn't appear that he's making an appearance in this movie. We're getting all these other villains.
Maybe if anything, it'll be talked about like.
We're getting Penguin. We're getting Riddler. We're getting Catwoman. And possibly a couple others, but that's all that we know we're getting right now.
See them have a beef.
Yeah, well.
I'm on the wrong side of that conversation, though.
Mm-hmm. So, Tiff, what do you think of this episode?
It had some good parts to it, but it does feel like they threw a bunch of things at the wall to see what stuck. And it was also like, it's almost like a teenager writing a paper and it's due on Friday and they wait until 3:30 in the morning on Thursday. And
Yes.
what they turn in, and that's kind of like what I felt this episode was. And it's not like it was their fault though. Like I said, it's not giving an excuse for the pandemic, but they had to go with what they had.
Yeah.
When they shut down and the country had to shut down, they had no choice.
Yeah.
So, like the things that Grant Gustin was excited about, the things that he's like, oh, I can't wait, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're probably never going to see that, and
Yeah.
you know, it may be something they can throw behind the scenes on the you know the season then when they put it out on DVD or something. But you know, when the main character has an interview and it says, I'm sorry, like this is, I mean.
I felt bad when I watched the interview because you could see that like he was frustrated, but he had to keep a smile on his face, and they keep asking, "Well, what are you doing in quarantine?" He's like, "Learn how to play guitar, and you know, yeah, you know, we're just really sorry that we weren't able to do anything with the finale."
But it also goes to show though too that a lot of people on this show take their jobs seriously. They like portraying these people. I mean, I see Grant Gustin in the same way that I see Henry Cavill. They want to play the roles. They do well in the roles. So if their character doesn't kind of like live up to snuff, I guess, they get frustrated. And it's like, it was nothing against what he did. He played the same role he always does. He put the same fervor into it that he always does. It was, and you can't even say the writing. Like I said, it was just, they had to put it all together. It was like all hodgepodge together with what they had. So, I'm trying to take it with a grain of salt. I guess I'm not as crazy, like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, she disappeared in the Mirrorverse. Yes, that's our cliffhanger. We've had worse cliffhangers where I've been, like, staring at the TV mad for, like, an hour when the show was done. That didn't happen this time, and it's probably because they had to hurry up and, throw everything together. So, if anything, in a weird way, I'm okay because I'm not, like, frustrated, mad, thinking, I gotta wait all summer now. Because right now, that kind of ending, I'm like, when it comes back, hopefully they have better stuff.
Yeah. Now, what would you give this? What would you rate this episode? We're going to rate the episode, and then we're going to rate the season. So, what would you rate the episode on the scale of 1 to 10?
Probably a 6 or a 7 out of 10.
You're going to give this a 7?
I said 6 or a 7.
I know, a 6 or 7, but you're saying that there's a mirrored universe where that you possibly give this a 7.
Just because you don't.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, you feel that it's really
I
deserving
still
of a 7?
feel that I liked the fact that, it still showed, I liked the fact that, you have all these different things going on. Yeah, there was a lot of things in this season where it's like, hey, they had this going on and this going on, but the fact that they have so many people now in the cast, you kind of have to do like what they do for a soap opera and be like, okay, these 3 stories are going to be this week. These 3 stories are going to be this week. Now we're going to try and put all of them together. Yeah. And it's kind of like they had to do that tonight. And so, but I gave it a higher thing because I'm hoping with all these little tidbits that they left on the ground for tonight that they can flesh some of that out and like give us some more meat and potatoes next season and kind of pick it back up.
I have absolutely no hope for that at all. I'll be honest with you. Just knowing the track record of how they usually do season finales anyways.
I agree, Irving.
Knowing how they usually do season finales anyways, where we basically get a whole year lead up to the last episode, and then like half the episode stuff happens, half the episode nothing happens, it ends, and basically tells us that we're going to have the first few minutes of the season opener the next season to get it worked out, and that basically they could be in the biggest world of hurt. And then literally we've seen a season start before where everything is literally resolved in the first 15 minutes and they're already on to something else.
Flashpoint?
Yeah. Oh, don't get me started on Flashpoint. So that, when I see stuff like that for normal seasons, I don't have any hope that this next season is going to be somehow different. I don't see why we would think that they were gonna like somehow like drag this other one out and make it work. Now, like I agree.
I agree with Isaac.
I agree with who said it. Jeff, I think, said it. That these characters are always going to be there. Godspeed, Reverse Flash, Red Death. We can get to them eventually. You know what? Take your time. Finish the story and then let's get there. But I just don't think they're going to do it. So I give this episode, like you said, to me, when I see an episode that literally, and I understand why, but when it literally has to throw everything up against the wall and none of it makes sense, and you can see that some stuff was filmed at one point, some things were filmed at another point, it just doesn't make sense together. I got to give it a 4. It's just not. I feel like if I give it anything other than a 4. I'm saying it's okay, and it's not okay. It's just not okay. What I would have rather them done is just finish the season without trying to do a cliffhanger and without trying to do a season finale and just have it be continued. But you can tell that they tried to make something out of it and edit it in a certain way, and I think that that's what killed it.
Isaac said, I understand why they said this was the finale because they don't know when the country will reopen. Yeah. But I think they should have done another hiatus until they can film the last few episodes. The last 2.5 episodes would have taken them longer than 3 to 4 weeks to film. Irvin said season 2 is still the best cliffhanger.
Yes.
Irvin also said...
Well, season 1 was pretty good too, though.
Yeah. He said that they need to pull a Netflix and cut all the BS in the season. If it's 15 episodes, that's fine. I'd rather have a good season than have this mess. And then Isaac said I'd give it a 7. I feel like an Arrow season finale. The villain's goal either worked or failed. You got someone to return or leave. Joe left some questions for next season. Sue's framed now. The villains didn't necessarily win, and the cliffhanger, Iris disappeared. And then Jeff Glotfelty said, I have always been a huge fan Batman and loved the movies up to The Dark Knight, and then it just fell apart.
So you don't like The Dark Knight then?
Loved the movies up to The Dark Knight.
Oh, okay.
And then it just fell apart, he said.
Yeah. I just feel like if I don't say what this episode actually made me feel, that I'm giving it a pass just because it's the Flash. And I don't feel like I can give it a pass just because it's the Flash. Because like was said, I would rather it end at 19 episodes. Put it on a hiatus until you're able to come back, film the last 3, and why can't we get 3 in the summer? You know? Or end it at 19 episodes, but don't try to make it a big finale if you can't make it a big finale. Don't try to paste on stuff like from stuff that you don't have complete to try to make a big finale.
So why did Frost leave? Like, I don't think they ever explained why she really left.
Thank you, Irving. Like, I was sitting here, like, wondering, like, what I really missed, too. It showed her and her mom talking a little bit, and I know that they were working on something, but I'm not really... seriously, I don't know what they're...
Because what they explained in that one episode when she was passed out and Cisco and Dibney were in there trying to help her, that she got that cut, so it was infecting her. So they put that you saw that silver sticker looking thing on her. That was to kind of keep the cut at bay. So because her mom is a scientist, they were trying to bring her in because what is she? It's not like Cadmus, but she works for like that other company or whatever. And so they were kind of taking her because she keeps going back and forth, and she was stuck with just Frost for a little bit. Now she can finally, because she was stuck as Frost when she was.
No, it was Cadmus, wasn't it?
Is it Cadmus? I don't remember.
They're in Star Labs, and there's Cadmus.
Is that what her mom works for?
Or where does their mom work?
Anyway, regardless, when she fell asleep and the whole apartment was frozen and this kind of thing, that's when then she had that cut and she was kind of like infected and they were trying to fix it. So that silver thing is trying to like cover it. Mom is trying to fix it.
Okay.
And I don't know if that means it's going to split both of them up or what that all entails, but she's going with her mom to see if her mom can help fix it.
That would almost make more sense now at this point. Split them up, let her play 2 different characters, and be done with it. Because I'm really not understanding how this whole Killer Frost thing works.
I see it as split.
I get...
Because she's like, is she there? And she goes, if she's awake. And then, she, so she could hear her, and that's kind of how it was for Split. It's like whoever gets to sit in the front seat.
I get that, but, like, it's not... She doesn't have...
Isaac said Mercury Labs.
Okay. It's not like multiple personality disorder where like it's a personality disorder where somebody has split those things up to. You're literally talking about 2 different people in one person's body in this case scenario, which means one person has to totally take a back seat and let the other person take control. First of all, Killer Frost should have been absolutely insane by the time she even came forward into the light, because to go your entire life without being able to control where you go or what you do or what you see or who you interact with, to not interact with anybody.
That's why she was cranky and weird at the first.
I know, but then Caitlin does it out of her own accord to say, well, I'm going to take a step back. So you're going to take a step back from all your friends,
Isaac.
Everybody who means anything to you.
Isaac said it's like a permanent firestorm.
Yeah, it's just a weird.
That's exactly what it is. Because when they came together, how one person could fly and one person could do that. It's like that's how Firestorm was, but they could come apart. These 2 can't come apart. Irvin says they should split them up and have them be 2 people, and I wouldn't even be upset.
Me either. I would be fine with it, and let Caitlin play both.
Because she does both well.
She does.
And it would give her a chance. I mean, and they could do some fun stuff where they're in the same room at the same time and be like, oh, it's nice to finally see both of you together.
Mercury Labs.
That's what I just said 2 minutes ago.
Oh, I didn't know, sorry. So there's all that. No, but you bring up a good point, Irving, because like I don't think that they really dwelt on it that much to actually be able to like drive that home and make us care that that's what they were doing with her.
You were talking over it, but she was trying to, when the mom was trying to figure out at home, and that's when they realized that she couldn't do it there. They had to go back, to the lab. But she was trying to be the sarcastic mom, like, I wish, so-and-so was here.
Caitlin,
But you could see, though, that because Frost has had to take a back seat, so to speak, and the fact that she is coming forward more, she's also getting that relationship with her mom and that. I mean, because it's almost, I
don't trust her mom.
I think of it as, but I think that it's also like a weird, like a twins thing, almost like, because it's like she is living in Caitlin's head, so when she's not out, she's in there, so wouldn't she still have that connection or that want to, be with,
Yeah.
So when she's out, Frost, then maybe she's trying to get a relationship with the mom, but I don't trust the mom either.
No. So there's just so many things. That's another story element then that needs to be resolved. Is whatever. And what the heck is going on with Cisco? Cisco wasn't even in this episode.
Because he went to Atlantis. Because he went to go get whatever he needs for the Speed Force.
It's just so convenient. People are leaving, they're going, they're coming. You don't know where they're at on a weekly basis.
Irving said where the dad, he's gone since, season 5. No one has seen him for over a year now. What's up with that? Jeff says you're overthinking things, Daddy Enosh. You're trying to use real-world logic with the comic book logic. That is why you get lost most of the time, LOL. And then Isaac said when Caitlin is herself, she sees her daughter. And when she sees Frost, she sees her husband. That's right, because they did bring that up.
That's funny, Jeff. That's hilarious. I know. I guess I look at it because half the time it follows logic. Half the time it will follow that, and it sucks you into making you think that they're going to write it in a way that makes sense and you can wrap your mind around. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they'll sit there and throw some ridiculous stuff at you, and you're like, how am I supposed to digest this? It's like you sat down and you're eating a nice Italian dinner, and you got some pasta, got a little bit of sauce, right? You got some garlic bread.
You sound like Cheech and Chong, little muffins in a class.
I
don't
don't know about that, but okay.
That's the way you're saying it.
A little oregano. You got a nice meal there that you're sitting there eating with your family. Everything is good. The world is good. You got a nice little drink there. Everything's fine. Then all of a sudden, they take everything away and they just set a plate in front of you with some bark, some twigs, and some leaves, and they're like, digest that. Eat that now. That's your next course, and like it, and we're not going to explain.
Like it.
And we're not going to explain why we took away your good meal that you were loving and that you were just eating up and it was going down good. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Notice me. It is what it is. So, Tiff, what would you give the season as a whole? A lot happened this season.
Probably give the entire season a 7.5.
Okay. You know what? I'll even go as far as to give the season a 7 because a lot of cool stuff did happen this season. A lot of stuff happened this season. At least they killed that dude at the end of the season that I didn't like, that deserved to die. At least they killed him, But also that was a quick.
Jeff said, "Now I'm hungry."
That was a quick and easy resolution for the Joe situation because Joe basically got pushed out by the crazy dude, and then it's like, oh, he's dead. Oh, come on home. It's so
Irvin
simple.
said, what happened with Nora's diary? It's like she's... it's like, let's look at her notes then.
Plot point from last year.
It's like, okay, she didn't have anything special, but the Speed Force formula, like you telling me she didn't write about Red Death happening in her time or some other villain?
Apparently not. The world will never know. So it's like how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
Or at least, like you said, food.
I don't know. So I give it a 7. You give it a 7.5. You said.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look. I look at it this way. No matter what happened this season, we got to see both Barry Allens looking at each other. They're in Star Labs.
My name's Alan.
What? That, in and of itself, was a brilliant moment, and we got to see Crisis on Infinite Earths. Somewhat of a
Brandon Routh got to redeem himself.
of a decent, yeah. I mean, this season redeemed, and it wasn't just the Flash; it was all the DC shows, but it redeemed that. And I made it through an entire season of Supergirl without watching one episode. Actually, I take that back.
Yeah,
I
you
did.
did.
I did watch an episode. I watched one episode. Yeah.
Because I saw that there was one watched.
Yeah, I watched one episode. I tried. Well, no, that means I watched 2 episodes because I
Well,
watched
you watched
I watched
the-
the
you
crossover
watched the
episode.
one.
So technically, I watched 2 episodes. But
Isaac says, I feel like The Flash has introduced or hinted at too many things and need to solve them all over time.
yep, it needs to bring it on downtown. That's all I'm saying. So I agree. It needs to start bringing it on home to Omeletville.
I'm thinking salad village with some chicken and some bacon.
So there you go, guys. That's the season.
The season finale is so good, we're thinking about, okay, what do we have for dinner?
That's the season. That's the season. We love the Flash, though.
We do.
We're not going to stop loving
But
the
I am
Flash.
excited next Tuesday to start Stargirl.
Yep.
So that's going to be exciting.
And hopefully by then the copyright strike will be gone. Should be any day now.
Bring it on back to YouTube, Phil?
Well, I think my problem was that I think the problem where we're at is going to be where I think it's going to come back tomorrow or Thursday, because I tried to resolve it right away. So I think it's either tomorrow or
True, Irving and
Thursday.
Isaac.
Thursday that the strike will get lifted, because they have up to they have 10 to 14 days to answer it back, and if they don't, then it goes away. So I think Warner Brothers just realizes that it's like last time. Yeah, a bot probably made the strike against us, and they really don't care, because I've emailed them twice, and if they really cared, they would have gotten attorneys by now, because that's how the process works, is they have to come back and they have to show proof to YouTube that they're actually going to take us to court. They're not going to take us to court because we didn't do anything wrong. We didn't show their episode. We didn't do any of that stuff, and it's just frustrating because in the meantime, a small little channel like ours, we just sit here in limbo because we can't live stream on YouTube. And so it is what it is. Hey, I do have a question, though, for all of you out there. I tried to upload a video.
That's what I'm sitting
that
for.
I put a lot of time into. And it's a fun animation video, but it utilizes animation from Warner Brothers. And as soon as I uploaded it, Warner Brothers blocked it. And I can't upload it anywhere else because it's either too big, the file size is too big. I tried Vimeo, but it wouldn't let me because the file size is too big, and I didn't realize Vimeo charges you. Vimeo has a charge for being a part of Vimeo, so that was out of the question. I've tried to upload it to Facebook. I don't know if that's going to work.
Isaac says, is there ads on that video?
No, there were no ads on the video. I did not monetize the video. I'm going to try to upload it again and make sure that all the settings are that there are no ads on it, no nothing. But no, they just completely blocked it. And then I disputed it because they blocked it, and then they came back and said no, it wasn't parody. It's such a parody. I mean, that's all it is parody, because basically it's a parody of the famous duck season, rabbit season thing, and except for it's Hulk Hogan as Bugs Bunny and Macho Man Randy Savage as Daffy Duck. And I did a whole intro to it. There's like a 4-minute intro to it that has nothing to do with that. That's its own thing. And then another part that's like another 3 minutes before the actual cartoon starts. And it's just because it's got some music in there, and they're trying to say that they can block it, and I just don't understand how it is. But I'm gonna have to figure out, because I want to get it out there to people.
Isaac said maybe try changing the color filter a little, like make it a little lighter or darker, and see if that makes a difference.
I guess I could try
Because you're
that.
kind of changing the original.
Yeah. Good
Isaac
point.
also said they hinted Rogue's Red Death, the mystery of Nora's journal, no definitive explanation on how Eobard always returns, and a lot of characters that are out there and still no Flash Museum. And then Irving also said, give us the real future Flash story.
Ooh. There's so many Flash stories that, I mean, that's the beauty of being a Flash fan, is that there's so many stories out there that can be told. There's a rich history there, and there's so many characters, and why they're sitting around messing around with Mirror Master for half a season, I don't understand it.
Same reason they had a Thinker.
You know, messing around with this whole thing of...
Cicada, they could have pulled a bunch of different
That's the
ones.
thing. You're messing around with all these lower tier characters because it's like they don't want to give us the big meaty stuff. And unfortunately, and then I think it was mentioned earlier, like Captain Cold. No Captain Cold anywhere. You know, one of the Flash's biggest enemies, not involved in the show.
Because he went over to Legends and
I
something
get
happened
it.
to him over there.
I understand it, but why make one of the Flash's greatest enemies into a good guy and then he's gone?
Jeff said, try to publish it as unlisted, not public, so only those who have their post notifications
I did
can
that
see
too.
it, and they'll allow it to be posted. And yeah, take off the ads because that will flag the algorithm.
No, that's how. Actually, when I first posted it, I did it as private, so nobody would have been able to see it, and that's one of the reasons why I was surprised it got flagged before I even had a chance to make it public. Because that was my whole thing. Because all of my videos, when I upload all my videos, I make them private at first. Because then I go back and I edit, like the end credits and stuff like that for videos and stuff. And then if I am monetizing, I put the monetizations in there. And then also any of those post things like the tags and all that stuff. And then I make sure to put the thumbnail on there and stuff. So I always put it as private first, but for some reason, just because I uploaded it to YouTube, I can see it, but nobody else can see it.
Jeff said, remember, we still have Bloodwork is just waiting and playing the long game. Let's see how does that play out next season as well.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, guys, if you have not seen, we started Poindexter, the Poindexter Council, and so episode...
When Isaac comes back at the end of the
episode
month,
one,
sit in
yeah,
on one.
episode 1 was yesterday. I am in the middle of uploading episode 2. You're not going to want to miss this
You would love it, Isaac.
because episode 2 is the council talking about different characters that we would recast. That the original casting did not work for us, and I'll tell you what, Johnny. On it wasn't Johnny. Who was it?
Caleb.
No.
Which person? What?
I'm trying to remember who.
What was the topic?
I just said the topic. I'm talking about. No, it was Johnny. It was Johnny. He had the idea for recasting Khan in Star Trek Into Darkness. And I'll just give you a hint because I don't want to give away. I don't really want to give it away, but I'll give you a hint. It's somebody that we've talked about here just now, and was on this season of The Flash, and it's inspired casting. You're going to want to check that out. It'll be on the channel later tonight, hopefully, and or at least by tomorrow morning.
I also liked, was it Jason or Caleb, with their idea of who they would have recast Batman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we
I
got
like that
there's a
one, too.
lot of good stuff on there, guys. I think you're really gonna like that going forward, that whole series going forward, because we got some good people on there who really know comics, who really know pop culture and movies and TV shows, and it's nice to have 7 people in a Zoom meeting and talking about this stuff, and people coming up with some pretty brilliant ideas on this stuff. So look for that.
Irving says, what is that and how can I be a part of this conversation?
Like I said, check out a couple of those episodes, and then maybe we can talk about you being a part of one of our tapings, where we tape it and have it.
You can be on one of them because of Zoom. He says you can find a quiet place and do
Yeah, Isaac. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Isaac will definitely be one. That's a given, dude.
Well, he's not coming back to the end of the month, so if we
Yeah.
did one beforehand, that was a topic that he'd be
Yeah.
good at.
Yep. So All right, guys. Well, what's up, Caleb? We were just. I was just given the sneak peek at episode 2 of the Council, the Poindexter Council.
Not the High Council.
Nope, not the High Council. Although I do have an idea for another Mike Zero parody, Mark Uno. I think Mark Uno is going to branch out a little bit. I think Mark Uno is going to take things up to the next level. I don't think Mark's going to be like happy anymore with just doing a parody like thing for thing with what Mike Zero does, because Mike Zero has become a parody of himself. Now he's saying, that The Rock is going to be in the next Star Wars trilogy and run that and stuff. So when you start saying stuff like that, Mike Zero, you're not even making it fun anymore. You're taking the good jokes, and so, but I got some ideas though of things that Mark Uno can do that I can't wait to show you. So, all right, guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed at least coming in here and being with us here on Facebook. Thank you for joining us on Facebook. Appreciate it. Appreciate all you guys so much. We miss you when we can't live stream like this. This is the second time that this has happened, and this just sucks. We don't like it at all. But we're going to get through it, and we're going to be okay. And we look forward to being back live on YouTube with you guys, because so many of you found us on YouTube, and we miss it because at least when we're on YouTube, other people can find us. Unfortunately, when we're not on YouTube, the only people who are with us then are just the people who are with us. But you know what? That's okay. We still love you anyways, and we're glad that you're with us. All right. So look for more cool, fun stuff coming out this week from the Poindexter Lounge. And thanks for being a nerd and for being a part of the Poindexter Lounge with us. Season 6 is in the history books. It's gonna go down as an interesting season along with this year, I think. So started off with a lot of promise with Crisis, and not really sure how we ended up where we ended up, but
people are joking that they're gonna end this year for New Year's, and instead of when the ball drops, instead of saying Happy New Year, they're gonna be like Jumanji.
Tell you what, you almost need the Flash to do a second Flashpoint and kind of reboot a lot of stuff that happened.
Yeah.
But that's all right. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. We will see you next time. Keep running. Keep running. And we'll have plenty more to watch over the summertime and to do live streams over the summer, even though the Flash won't be live.
We'll find stuff. We'll do movie marathons. We'll do, Jackbox games where we can bring everybody into it. We'll do all kinds of stuff.
We discovered Zoom, so now we can bring a lot of people into a lot of different fun stuff. All right, guys? All right. Stay safe. Keep running. Say goodnight, Tiff.
Good night.
Oh, yeah, yeah.